Okay, well, it's another day in this kitchen garden, and today we're going to be going over phase 7 of 8. We're getting close to the end of the phases in creating our kitchen garden. Of course, from there it will be ever evolving from season to season, many things happening. Today we're going to be talking about preparing the soil for planting. Now, the very first thing I would recommend to do is to check your soil's pH. Over the years, I have experienced that when my pH is off in the soil, the plants just do not thrive because they cannot take up the nutrients. No matter how many nutrients you put down, if that pH is off a lot, the plant cannot take up those nutrients. So it's vital to check your pH. So I invested in a really good pH meter. This is a Kilway, and it's made in Japan, and so far I have been pleased with it. So the very first thing we're going to do is check the pH of my soil. So let's get started on that. All right, so in using the Kilway pH meter, it's also a moisture meter. I'm not going to be checking the moisture today. I'm just going to be focusing on the pH. So it comes with a conditioning film, and you just wrap that around it a couple of times to kind of cleanse it, and then it's ready to go. The soil does have to be a little bit moist. I've already put a little bit of water down here. So all you have to do is, it's already been calibrated. So you just insert this directly into the soil. All right, so my pH meter is ready. It's registered. And as you can see here, it's approximately 6.8. So a good pH for the vegetable garden is somewhere between 6.5 and 7. So mine is good. So let's talk about the soil pH a little bit more. There's 50 states in the USA. Most of them gets 20 inches or more of rainfall annually. Now, I live in Florida, and we are the 5th on the list. So our rainfall here is approximately 53 inches annually. So normally, this would be a time to put down lime. However, lime was put down in this whole garden area here at the beginning of the year. So it still is holding the pH level quite well. Gypsum and lime both is a good source of calcium. Lime is calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate, and then gypsum is a calcium form as well, but it also contains sulfur. Now, to my knowledge, gypsum does not measurably change the soil's pH at all. So, if you live in a state that gets 20 or more inches of rainfall per year and you need to correct your soil pH, then you would go with a agricultural lime of some sort. In the states that gets a lot of rainfall, 20 or more inches annually, what happens is, as that rainwater filters through the soil, it has a tendency over time to leach the calcium from the soil. So before we plant, we're going to be amending the soil with some fertilizers, with some minerals. And now, mind you, there are so many things that we could put down, but compost is like one of the best things, in my opinion, that you can amend your soils with. I don't have compost right now, so therefore we're going to be using worm castings today to help amend the soil. But on a pre-plant fertilizer, I'm going to be mixing together Epsom salt, which is a magnesium sulfate, and then borax. You can buy this at your local grocery store. This is just your 20 mule team, and this contains a mineral called boron. And boron is very important in helping all your other nutrients work together. But a little bit goes a long way. Put too much boron down, it could be just the opposite effect on your plants. Part of my pre-planting fertilizer, I'm going to use approximately 4 tablespoons of Epsom salt to 1 level tablespoon of borax, which is your mineral boron. This is just a small batch. You can mix it up ever to how much quantity you need. Just mix that up real good. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to just sprinkle it on here. You're going to put approximately about 2 tablespoons every linear foot. So you can just kind of sprinkle it on. This is an 8-foot bed. All right, so the next thing I'm going to put on is this all-purpose organic fertilizer. Just use whatever works for you. And I'm not going to measure it. I'm just going to sprinkle it on. Now, these fertilizers do not work right away. These organic fertilizers, it takes time for them to break down. It has to be broken down from the microbes in the soil. So as the weeks pass by, little by little, it starts to break down and become available for the plants. And on this, I don't measure. I just, you get the idea of it. After a while, you just kind of sprinkle it on. Now, if I had compost available, I would be doing that as well. I don't have any at this time, so I'm going to be putting down worm castings. And same thing, just kind of sprinkling it on to help amend the soil. Now, when you're mixing this in, it's good for your nutrients to stay within the first couple of inches of your soil level, because most roots, they only grow down to about 6 inches. And so if you kind of keep it at the top, as you're watering and as it rains, it's going to kind of wash it down little by little. So we would just come through here, and just kind of cultivate it with our hands a little bit, or you can use a gardening tool, whichever works best for you, just to kind of mix it in. And you just do that over the whole entire bed. Okay, so I just got through mixing the fertilizers into the soil. Like I said, there's much more that one could put in, whatever you have available, whatever your soil needs are. It's going to vary from person to person and from garden to garden. It's just important to keep the fertility of the soil at an optimum level. Also, after you do that, you can just apply some water, kind of mist it down a little bit. And then if you're not going to plant in the bed right away or that area right away, if you could just cover it with something, a tarp or some mulch or something, because really all of our soil should be covered with something when we're not harvesting or growing in it. Okay, so now we're going to phase 8 of 8, the last phase in creating this kitchen garden. I am so grateful and thankful that you have stayed with me all along the way. It has been a beautiful journey. Each garden is going to be having something different planted in it. It's going to be according to what you like to plant, what you like to eat, what you like to grow, your climate, and so many variables. I'm going to give you a little bit of sampling. I will be planting at the beginning. You'll see pineapples down here on the ground. I have 4 of those. I'm going to be planting these on the outside actually of the garden here. And I have been growing these for about 2 years now. They got stunted back last winter. We had a pretty hard freeze that came through and it kind of set it back, but it has gained some energy and growth since then. This is a tangerine tree. In Florida, we're known for our citrus, and so I had to do some kind of fruit of some sort in the citrus. And so remember now, in our kitchen gardens, as much as possible, it's about not only herbs and flowers and vegetables and salad greens, but it's also about it being beautiful. Now, this is an English lavender. There's many uses for lavender in the garden. I have 2 cherry tomatoes here, some collards, marigolds, some strawberry plants that I've got growing here. These are actually the Brilliance strawberries from Florida. And then in the herb garden, we're going to be doing some rosemary, some spearmint, and some peppermint. I have a grapevine here I've been growing for a little while. And on the end here, we have some blackberry bushes. These are thornless. And so we're going to be trellising them up in the garden. I have 4 of those and 2 more pineapple plants over here on the other side. So with that, I thank you, and I will see you in the next video. You have just watched the last video, video 5 of 5, which covered phase 7 and 8 of 8. Those videos are just the beginning. I have more videos in the continuation of how to grow a productive and beautiful kitchen garden season after season. If you have found value in this video, please take a moment to like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell. Thank you, and I will see you in the next video.